Hello, ladies. So, some of you may or may not know this manga. Depends on where you've been the past couple of years or so. Luckily for you guys, nothing escapes my eyes, my death grip on the general media consumption of the masses. Something many of you don't understand is that I hold a very high understanding of the world. Denji is a 16-year-old orphan boy who struggles to get by before becoming the chainsaw guy. And then he goes on a coming of age story. Wow, I mean, who could have saw this one coming, huh? So yeah, it's a Shonen Jump manga. It has a unique art style. It's slightly too fast, and it's like the biggest thing ever. If you haven't read it, you should, regardless of whether you think you'll like it or not. Cause isn't being part of the discussion fun? I have it in my top 3 mangas, so it has my bronze medal seal of approval. So you know this is worthwhile. But don't just take my word for it. Let's look at what the jury has to say. Damn, some people, man. Well, screw them. How about you listen to me? That's why I'm here in the first place, anyways. So, if you haven't read Chainsaw Man, not watch, don't watch it. You must read it. Get the fuck off social media and get your attention span up before the government takes control of the mindless husk that you become. Then you should before watching this review. It's not spoiler free. I don't believe in spoiler reviews. It's a myth. It's like Santa Claus for me, you know? It's supposed to come for people who don't have a goddamn clue about discussion. Like, one day I woke up and I realized how fucking useless they are. And then I proceeded to cry how little worthwhile content there is about the stuff I like. But we cannot just stand around and wait for a hero. I look at the search results of my favorite media like a goddamn bat signal. YouTube needs me. This is my Gotham. And Gotham needs a hero. But before I make the big videos I really want to make, I have to do obligatory Batman prep time. You know, like I'm some kind of TikTok death battle argument. I have to like build an audience or something. Chainsaw Man is not a very hard story to understand. However, many people will disagree with this statement, and you know, if I sped read the shit out of this manga like everyone else did, I would be inclined to agree. So, let's go over a little summary. Denji is very poor, and after getting rid of his debts the way we all should, he gets an opportunity to not be poor as a devil hunter, with some special rules put on him by the mysterious and enigmatic Makima. Along the way, he befriends some people in the squad. We got Aki, a brooding leader and powerful, a fun-loving buddy. A lot of stuff happens, and then too much stuff happens, and Denji is oh so sad. But then he remembers what it was like to be Orphan of Koth for the very first time, and he remembers that we need the bad to know the good, and that good things will eventually come to those who work for it. We can all have good lives. We can all make it. So then he BTFOs Makima and moves on to the next part, which will not be covered by the way. So, the big unique world thing obligatory with Shonen Action Series, Devils. Devils are the monstrous manifestation of human fears, and the more people fear a concept, the more powerful the devil. There are many cold devils in Chainsaw Man, and the story supposedly revolved around them, but there isn't a whole lot of focus on the devil world. They are mostly there for show while we are distracted by the real villains, Peep Makima. So I don't really have much to say about devils. Actually, I do have some stuff to say. To all power scalers out there, if you think the Chainsaw Devil is the strongest devil, you are so fucking braided and I hate you. You should be banned from ever reading again since your reading comprehension is so hopelessly abysmal. We haven't even seen what the Darkness Devil is truly capable of. But aside from that, the Gun Devil literally flies across the entire world, killing people instantaneously in a matter of minutes, and somehow this feat is less impressive than Pochita Magi and a bunch of weaker devils. Chainsaw Devil could be revealed to be super strong, but as it stands, he doesn't have the feats or even the potential aside from his power, which is just like super death and not really useful in a fight. He doesn't have the battle IQ and defensive properties. People are so brainwashed every time I see a TikTok ranking the devils. People get so mad when Pochita's not number one, and then they start bullshitting with, it explicitly said, no, it didn't. Words cannot express how stupid power scalers are. It's literally all they do, and they're not even good at it. Sometimes I think power scalers don't actually read or watch anything, and they just browse like that one wiki, you know? So, you know, all in all, just very dangerous people you don't want to associate with. So, the other big thing about Chainsaw Man, pacing. It's very fast. Some might say too fast. I vastly vastly prefer slower stories because they have better payoffs like almost all the time. But I still enjoy the pace of Chainsaw Man. It's undoubtedly more Chainsaw Man to be fast than slow. Fujimoto's writing style tends to be this strong emotional core wrapped in hyper energetic action and some bonus layers of absurdism. He doesn't always do this, obviously, but you can see it in his other works like Fire Punch and Goodbye Eri. What Chainsaw Man lacks in quantity, it more than makes up for it in quality. Chainsaw Man has a very lovable cast that you will get attached to very fast and very strongly. Fujimoto employs simplistic and popular narrative tools to get people engaged in the first place, like flashbacks, and instills in more unique and memorable moments to make people stay for good. Every arc has a handful of more down-to-earth and relatable moments where we can really connect with the characters before they're thrown into the ringer. Chainsaw Man is a very character-driven story. We are introduced to one overarching goal of fighting the Gun Devil a couple chapters in, but that's only really a background thing. A lot of events are written in a way that's almost like in reverse. We get the scenario, and then Fujimoto finds a way to tie in the Gun Devil, usually some kind of the Gun Devil sent them. That never really matters though, because the people sent are usually the stars of the show alongside their own goals and motivations. Chainsaw Man's plot has a lot of cool scenarios and a great twist at the end. We all knew Makima wasn't a patron saint, but the kind of villain she turned out to be and what she was actually doing throughout the whole story was kind of really interesting. But the real highlight of Chainsaw Man, and the highlight of most stories, is the cast. We're gonna talk about 4 characters. Can you guess which ones they are? If you answered these 3 nameless Yakuza, you're correct. Denji is the main character, and he is a very good main character. Endearing, funny, a great character arc, and so on and so forth. Despite his shallow goals and at first glance tropey writing, he is one of the more interesting and nuanced protagonists in shonen. Denji's shtick is that he has had a horrible life deprived of anything except the bare minimum needed to survive up to the age of 16, which frankly isn't much, but on top of that, he's also an orphan with no socialization outside the Yakuza that keep him alive like a slave. So, because he's never had anything, he's very content with the best thing to ever happen to him being hugging a girl or having a decent meal. Poor guy doesn't know the wonders of this world. But yeah, so he has super shallow goals and a weird personality, but he has it for a reason. In my eyes, it's kind of bare minimum writing. You guys know how like a lot of shonen stories have characters who have like a gimmick, and then somewhere down the line they get a backstory for that gimmick. So they're like 2-dimensional instead of 1. Wow. Yeah, this is basically that, but like way better. Not go as far as to call Denji 3-dimensional. He also has other traits, of course. He has a unique perspective on devils due to being raised alongside a little devil friend, the chainsaw guy himself. His core character is about ambition and what it really means to be happy. So, while he isn't super complex and multifaceted, it works perfectly for the lesson the show is trying to tell, which is why he's a great main character. Next is Power. You know, I have a little cousin called El Power. We call him that because all he does is tackle and punch people, which isn't too dissimilar from the actual character. Power is rude, abrasive, energetic, selfish, and surprisingly affectionate. She is a rather interesting character despite kind of just being there for comedic release all the time. Also, I'm never really too fond of characters who aren't human but are sentient and show all ranges of human emotion, and like the only difference is that they're like really apathetic to humans because like, well, would humans really spare an ant? It's stupid. The stories always build them up to be inhumane, but they're kind of the same and they usually end up building some form of empathy towards us anyways, which I guess is the point of some of these stories, sure, but it's an idea that's just a bit lost on me. I do, however, like Power, even though she falls into the same category and even becomes quite human at the end. There's a point to her character, much like the entire main cast, which is why they work so well and are so good. They're also just very entertaining. Japanese humor is definitely something, but as a Family Guy type of guy, you know, it's not the best thing ever. Chainsaw Man's humor is more varied, and Power being inspired by Eric Cartman is a testament to that. She is very hilarious. Power is the devil, so she can kind of be mean sometimes. Some might even say morally gray. Ooh. Despite that, she is a coward's morally gray. I think Denji has done more outright evil things than her. I mean, not to call Fujimoto a coward or anything, but in her flashbacks, she only kills animals. And livestock at that. Wow, how evil. But yeah, she serves the purpose of being viewed only for her body by Denji before becoming a very important person to him and having him learn more about human relationships and whatnot. It's very beautiful and heartwarming. And Power's torso is entirely gone. Wow, well, Damn. Don't worry though, she comes back to finish her lesson / arc. And then bye bye again, but for realsy this time. Moving on to Aki. Aki is definitely like the second most important person in the story since he gets like the second most screen time and has a much more serious character arc. He starts off harsh and uncaring, but little by little we see his more empathetic and heroic side until we finally see him fully embrace Power and Deji as his BFFs. Very beautiful, like always. I Got Cold Feet is easily one of the top 5 moments in the whole manga. His downfall though is his ambition, ironically. The theme of the story is about like risking it all for a better life. Of course, there's also the fact that Makima was just using him as part of her plot. But yeah, with so many riskers, someone is bound to get the short stick, you know? That's Aki. His life finally has some sense of peace, but I guess his risk was trying to help people who weren't his to help. I don't find Aki's characters to be terribly interesting, but his story and journey is very much entertaining. Really good tragedy that works to serve as a part of Denji's arc, without him being more of a tool like Power. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing in Power's case, but I like to see a bit of quote-unquote independence and like agency in people's arc, for lack of a better term, which is ironic because Makima is the main villain of the story. Her evil deed is taking away agency. The main cast are all very tied to Chainsaw Man's theme, so you know, like Town Mouse, City Mouse, Club Mouse, Italian Mouse, you know, the whole shebang. Denji is a fledgling City Mouse, whereas Makima is a Town Mouse through and through. She wants to get rid of everything bad in the world so that people only enjoy good. She does whatever it takes. It takes a lot. So yeah, not a very unique motivation, but it's executed very well and fits in super well to the story. Makima's character isn't much of anything other than manipulation and mysterious. She comes off as warm, caring, and slightly scary to other characters, but to us readers, she's just kind of off-putting and weird. Again, another case of a character serving the theme, which is completely fine. It gives the series this super strong core to latch onto amidst all the chaos. Art good. No need to say more. You've been seeing in the background. However, actually I would just highlight the fact that Fire Punch, Fujimoto's previous work, was way more detailed and impressive despite also being on the same weekly schedule. Very interesting that Fujimoto decided to cut back, whether it be because he had less passion, or he just wanted to take it easier, or he thought the rougher edges will stylistically fit better. Oh, and also paneling. Paneling is one of the things unique to comics, and being good at it goes a very long way. Fujimoto's paneling and use of sound effects, double spread, borders, it's all crazy shit. He is very much a master of this. But people seem to not mention it a whole lot. There's so much more to manga than just how detailed the art is and how well written it is. Because how it's told and how it's shown is what makes or break it. Yeah. There are a lot of videos I want to make, and this is not really one of them. And I really hope that didn't show through. I hope you guys see all the passion that lives inside my heart. Anyway, I just want to give a big shout out to all my Patreon supporters. You know, I couldn't have done it without you guys. I will forever be grateful.
And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment and subscribe.